Good evening, Captain. Salisto here. You asked for it, you demanded it, you have a fever, and the only prescription is more commentary. So, this is the first week we're going to go with our new schedule. We're going to try 3 commentary videos a week. This is your first. I wanted to get this out yesterday, and I apologize for being a day late, but I had a minor family emergency, so I hope you guys understand. Today, we are going to do the Nelson. I got a first impressions video for you. I've played about a dozen games or so. We're going to start off by giving you a little bit of history on the Nelson. The Nelson was the lead ship of 2. Rodney was her sister ship. It was the first battleship designed within the limitations of the Washington Naval Treaty. She was laid down December 28th, 1922, launched September 3rd, 1925, and she was commissioned August 15th, 1927. She was the first BB to have the all-or-nothing armor scheme and the first UK battleship with 16-inch guns. So right now we're going to look at the commander build. We're using Azure Lane Nelson for all these games. She's level 12, legendary 1. Inspirations, Cunningham and Goller. Cunningham's level 14 and Goller is level 6, legendary 1. She's got Big 7 at only 14% because I only got 3 out of 4 there. And I only have 1 extra heal. I believe I need to get to rank 16 to get the second, but we're getting there pretty soon. I think I have her up to rank 4 now. It puts her HE damage at only 7,849 with a 46% fire chance. Her AP shell damage is 13,440. Now, you do get a little bit of reduced pen, but that is okay. So, let's get back to the guns. I love her guns. First, the downside, though. Pretty slow shell. Little low shell velocity, has a long travel time. And it took me a couple games to get used to how much travel time they really have at longer distances. Other than that, the accuracy seems acceptable. She does have short fuse AP. That's perfectly fine with Big 7 because your AP is going to do massive damage against cruisers anyway, and it's going to penetrate rather than over-penetrate a lot of the time. Thankfully, we have an AOBA here that has kindly agreed to help us demonstrate the effectiveness of the AP shells. We're at about 13 kilometers, I think. Shots out there with the AP loaded at an angled target. Boom, there are the hits. 2 pens, 2 overpens, 11,558 damage. That is an incredible amount of damage for non-citadels on an angled cruiser. So as you can see, her armor piercing still super effective against cruisers. And now that we have all that short-fused armor-piercing talk out of the way, time to get on to the fun stuff, the high explosive. The gameplay in the background is about 5 minutes later from previous. Same game, though. You have decent pen with your high explosive. Even with the minus 15% penalty with your Big 7, plenty of penetration to target the superstructures of most enemy battleships you face, with the added gift that it doesn't matter what angle they are. So they could be bow tanking you, they could be broadside, doesn't matter. You're still doing the same damage as long as you're hitting the superstructure. American ships, German ships, French ships, British ships, they all have generally large superstructures for you to engage. The one nation that really doesn't are the Russians. But they have such weak side armor that if they're broadside to you, go ahead and fire the short fuse AP. You probably will still get citadels. They're that weakly armored. Anyway, thankfully we have this Scharnhorst here who has kindly volunteered to help us demonstrate the HE shell damage. Give us a second to get the guns around here. We're going to aim up at the superstructure. Shots out. See what happens. Boom. 12,950 HE damage. 7 pens and a fire. That's a lot of HE damage. You love to shoot at German battleship superstructures. They love to be lit on fire, and they are paper thin, basically aluminum foil. Thankfully, our cruiser decides he wants to present a better target for the Scharnhorst than us. So we're going to get to fire again. Scharnhorst torpedoes in front of us, almost reloaded, aimed in, up at the superstructure again. Maybe could have aimed a little bit higher. Boom, 5 penetrations, 10,000 damage, 1 shatter. Now keep in mind, heavily armored cruisers and battleships' main belt armor will shatter your high explosive shells, so be sure to be aiming for that superstructure. What doesn't have the armor to bounce your HE shells are destroyers, as this Icarus is about to help us demonstrate. Boom! 9,490 damage, 6 pens, devastating strike. You are great at killing destroyers. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, unfortunately. Do you remember that all-or-nothing armor scheme I was talking about back with that Washington Naval Treaty stuff? Well, what it means is you have a 20mm bow plate, which means that guns of 15 inches or larger just go right through as if it isn't even there. No chance to ricochet. You're gonna get penetrated. That's what makes the Nelson difficult to play, and also what makes her not a brawler, among a couple other things. You want to try and keep her at about 10 to 14 kilometers. That's kind of the sweet spot for engagements. You do have really good deck armor, so if you can get the shells to come in at a flat enough trajectory where it can bounce off of your deck armor, you're not going to take much damage. Or you want to angle enough so they're doing overpens. They go right through your 20 millimeters of bow armor without even arming, going out the other side. Or maybe they'll hit you in the side armor, ricochet off of that, or get a penetrating hit, but fortunately, most of that's repairable. Basically, when you're angling the Nelson, you're going to want to angle her so the target that's going to shoot at you is almost able to be engaged by your third or C turret, like I'm doing here against this Warspite, who, by the way, has 15-inch guns. And now we're going to take a moment to interrupt your regularly scheduled background video to talk about the gimmick of the Nelson, the built-in 3D printer, or zombie heal, or enhanced heal, I think is the official term. With my build, it heals for 1,259 damage per second for 20 seconds, or 25,180 hit points, or 42% of the total HP of your ship. If you have 4 heals, that means if you properly use your heals to their full effect all 4 times, you have a total hit points of 160,120. It's very important to maximize the effect of those heals in order to be effective. What you need to do is limit damage that isn't mostly repairable. For example, oh, that's timely, torpedo damage. Look at all that damage and only about a third of it maybe is repairable. That's how you're going to have bad games in your Nelson, when you take Citadel hits or torpedo hits. Fire and flooding, you can heal 100% of that. So if you have a fire or two, no big deal. Flooding, damage control and cooldown, no big deal. You can just print yourself another Nelson. And that's the Nelson, Captains. In closing, all in all, she's a super fun ship to play, but she's not easy. If you don't pay attention to the minimap and you get citadeled by the enemy battleships or take torpedoes to citadel locations, you're not going to have a fun time. If you're looking for a brawler, I'd pass on her as well. If you can exercise some discipline and maintain situational awareness, though, you'll have a blast, I guarantee it. I'm happy with her, and I do not regret the purchase. And that's that, I suppose. I genuinely hope you enjoyed our time together today. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down. And if you'd like to let me know what you want to see going forward, leave a comment in the comment section. If you like the video so much that you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and never miss a video. We'd love to have you in the fleet. Until next time, fair winds and following seas.